Alrighty, what is going on, guys? It's Tazz here, and welcome back to the channel for another episode of the Legion Lounge Live. Now, as always, I am joined by my co-host and brother, Toxic Strike, aka Ghost Lead. What is going on, bro?
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
And boy, do we have quite a bit to talk about tonight regarding The Mandalorian. Mandalorian Chapter 14, The Tragedy, Season 2, Episode 6, directed by Robert Rodriguez. So we're going to go full spoilers on this episode as we do every week. So if you haven't seen the episode yet, massive spoiler warning. Don't want to spoil anything for you guys. This one was quite a big one. So yeah, huge spoiler warning. Go away, go watch the episode. It's not even that long. It's like 32 minutes or something like that.
Yeah, it's like
you'll probably be able to finish.
That's like credits.
Yeah, no, you'll probably be able to finish the episode before we finish the stream if you haven't seen it yet. So just go watch it. But yeah, we want to talk about this episode of Mandalorian. Speculate on kind of what it could mean for the rest of this season, as well as talk a little bit about a couple of things that we got as far as movies and TV goes. We got some news on the Hawkeye Disney Plus series that just started filming, so we'll discuss that a little bit later on, as well as WB and HBO Max might be trying to change up the way we see movies, which is very interesting. So yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit later on in the stream. As always, chat is open if you guys have anything to add, and you want to kind of, add to the conversation or have us mention something that we haven't currently mentioned. But yeah, with that out of the way, what are your first impressions of this episode? What are your initial thoughts? What are you thinking?
Major spoilers right here, guys.
Yeah, we don't have to do spoilers.
Oh my god, Boba Fett. Boba Fett was so cool this episode. Literally, if I could sum up like the episode in I guess one word, well, 2 words, I guess, just Boba Fett. All right, I know that this eepisode was about Mando and it was about Baby Yoda and all that, but
Grogu.
Yeah, Grogu. Yeah, but I mean, I feel like just this episode was really great, introducing Boba Fett into the scene once again. I feel like his entrance was kind of abrupt, but I think that there's a reason as to why he just kind of showed up and was like, "Hey, let me get my armor back." And Mando's like, "No, that doesn't belong to you." And he's like, "Are you sure about that?" Pulls up at the end the chain code or whatever he pulls up, and it's just like, yeah. I don't know. Also, it just gave me, as a Boba Fett fan, a whole bunch of lore when it comes to Jango and Boba Fett. So I'm just really excited. What about you?
Well, I'm just glad he kind of did the "I'm just a simple man trying to make my way in the universe," but he changed it. He was like, I'm just a simple man, or no, what did he say? He's like, "I'm just a simple man trying to make my way in the galaxy, just like my father." And I was like, "Oh man, he said the thing." He said the thing after the episode came out. I was just like, "Yo, he did the thing. They did the thing. This episode was crazy." Oh man. Yo, what is up, lawyer in the chat? How you doing, bro? How are you doing? Yeah, this episode was crazy. What's up, man? This episode was
crazy.
So obviously you are somebody that has been a massive Boba Fett fan forever. And I was always somebody that was a little bit more skeptical. Like, I liked Jango in the prequels. I always thought Boba Fett looked cool. Obviously everybody thinks Boba Fett looks cool. I thought he was a decent character. I always loved Tamora Morrison as Jango. I thought those interactions in the prequels were great, but I was never like a massive Boba Fett fan or a massive Mandalorian fan. Then Mando came out, then I was like, okay, the Mandalorians are much cooler than I originally thought.
Yeah.
And then they brought in Boba Fett, and then this entire episode, in case there were any doubts, totally redeemed just everything about the Boba Fett character. Like,
everybody just used to assume that he was just like a joke,
right?
And in a lot of case scenarios, he was.
He'll no longer go down as just like the guy that got taken out by a blind Han Solo.
Yeah, and also the guy that only has 5 lines in trilogy, with one of them being literally screaming is one of his lines, but now he's got a lot more lines.
I know. Yo, Infotex, how's it going, man? We're talking Mando. If you got anything that you want to add on this episode, let me know. But yeah, no, it was crazy because we start the episode off, and again, this kind of surprised me because we got right into it. We didn't, take a break. We didn't go do another side mission. This was right to Tython. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, why was Tython all like green? And it looked like, it looked like LA. It looked like California. It kind of looked like a fan film at points. And I totally understand that. In the comics, Tython is usually portrayed as being kind of like a snowy planet, right?
Right.
But this just kind of looked like some rocks in some rocks on a hill in California. But
because it kind of was.
It was, but like
little known fact. But like 9 months ago, we actually saw these. I mean, not exactly these scenes particularly, but we saw some stormtroopers out in California. Somebody was recording it, like a hiker, was just recording some stormtroopers sitting around, with their helmets off and stuff, probably because it was really hot. Yeah. They're like, oh, what are they filming over here? And little did we know that it was this episode of Mandalorian. So
yeah,
little things,
Yeah, the more you know, and that's pretty crazy. But so we go into this episode, we're picking up right where we ended off last week, and I'll say this right now: anybody that was having issues with like us personally, like we don't like the fact that these episodes are so short, right? This episode was like 32 minutes. I think it was the shortest episode of the season. So
I think it's the shortest episode in general of the show.
It might be. So literally right before we went live, I rewatched last week's episode and this week's episode back to back. Right. It flows so well going from chapter 13 to chapter 14. I feel like if you go back and watch this whole season, like as if it was a movie, once all 8 episodes are out, I think that issue will kind of be alleviated.
I think that's one of the issues that plagues this show. I think that it's an issue that would also plague a whole bunch of other shows. Like let's take a Netflix show, for example, like Stranger Things. All those shows just drop all at one time. Yeah. And it makes perfect sense because if you want to continue to watch the show, of course, you just can go ahead and do so. And it makes kind of sense for a show like that. And it's because, that kind of show, if you only had one episode at a time, it could kind of raise some questions and also just be kind of annoying. Like some of those episodes go together, and if they didn't go together, it would just be like, well, why am I watching this like this? And I feel like the reason as to why Mandalorian, I think they want it to be all together, but the thing is they can't, because if they did, then some of the discussion would be gone, and then people would lose hype and all that.
Exactly.
I think there's a reason as to why they have to do it this way.
Right. And I mean, if it wasn't done this way, then of course these streams wouldn't happen. People doing weekly videos on those, that wouldn't happen. You wouldn't get you wouldn't have people like Star Wars Theory going and doing these massive watch parties where he gets like 10,000+ live viewers watching the episode with him at as it's airing. And that's a massive, like, I don't think that there's been this much hype around a Star Wars project and this much positive feedback for something Star Wars in a very, very long time. And
I think
really
this is
important.
Not just, and I think this is not just a Mandalorian thing. I think this is just a Star Wars thing in general, and I think that it's a good idea to do this. Of course the story would be great to have it all at once, but I feel like to let the story be prolonged, I guess, and to hear all these theories and to grow content and to grow this wider scale of the show, because so many people are hearing about it, right? And I think that it's there's a purpose for it. It's not just because they want to.
Yeah, I mean, it's like
because it helps the show.
Like we're like Anakin. I want more, and I know I shouldn't, but like it's laid out in this way for a specific reason. And then also, I guess there's the argument too, is the fact that each episode has a different director.
Yeah,
so
also
like it could technically
kind of story almost.
Right, so like it could technically be seen as kind of jarring, but to me personally, I feel like the episodes flow really well. Like you recognize that.
Oh, go ahead.
No. Yeah, it's like you recognize that each episode has its own style, its own like direction, obviously. Like
Mm-hmm.
last week, directed by Dave Filoni, that was kind of like an ode to, you know, classic samurai western, that type of movie. Then this one, directed by Robert Rodriguez, that was a little bit more just real and a little bit more gritty, and it wasn't, you know, as super stylized. It looked a lot more, it was like out in the open during the daytime.
Yeah.
A lot of people say it looked kind of fan filmy, but like personally on a second viewing, I didn't care quite as much about that. I really liked the direction of this episode, and I thought it was like kind of a nice change of pace from like the darker, grittier episodes that we've had to something that's a little bit more just like out in the open, and you kind of just get to see, you know, everything.
Yeah,
if that makes any sense.
I think this is also just a good episode in general, just to, I don't know, just show the power level of the characters. And yeah, I popped that P. But the power level of the characters, as in, I mean, you just see how they are basically able to destroy ships full of stormtroopers just like it's nothing.
Oh yeah.
You know, even when they're setting up guns and all this, there's just like 3 of them, you know, and they just wreck house, you know, especially Phase Fennec over there.
Oh yeah, Phase Fennec just like quick
she's able to, like,
jumping
you know,
off
just
rocks.
quick scope and just, yeah, the 360 no scoping, you know, across the map, double YY, all that good stuff.
But
Like every stormtrooper.
If you notice though, she still always had the high ground.
Exactly. That's the main point, the high ground.
Never give up the high ground.
And Mando is basically just like, yo, we need to leave, Baby Yoda. Like, we need to go, you know.
We need
come
to
on,
get
Grogu.
out of here. Yeah, so he brings Grogu to the Seeing Stone. Well, first you get the flying thing, which is our background for tonight, which was great. It's just like, all right, we got to travel by jetpack the rest of the way, and then like, you know,
It
Grogu's
reminds
just
me
like,
actually of that of the one scene in, I don't know if anybody saw it, but in what was it, Underdog. And like when Underdog was like on like the date, and like he took the other dog.
Oh yeah,
like,
and they were
floating around with him.
flying.
I don't know why, but
Dude,
it reminded me of that.
Underdog,
Like the ears like flopping in the wind.
Underdog brings back memories. We could talk about that forever.
I know, right?
Oh, it's such a good movie. Such a good movie. I literally, Underdog is the reason why we have 2 beagles.
True. It's very true. And Shiloh, but
oh yeah, and oh my god. So,
Shiloh's kind of sad though.
Oh, dude, the movies.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, just
those are sad. Don't watch them. They're kinda sad.
Oh no. Anyway, back to this. Back to our little green friend with Grogu.
Yes.
So Mando brings him to the Seeing Stone, puts him on the stone. He's like, hey, you seeing anything? This is the Seeing Stone. You know, Mando, because he's got jokes for days. One interesting thing that I saw people point out that I didn't notice first time through, or I didn't think it meant much first time through, was the butterflies.
Yeah.
So this kind of ties to the Vader comics, is actually when Vader was like kind of meditating on Mustafar, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like looking through the Force. He saw like when he was trying to like reach out, he saw these like blue butterflies around him as well.
Force flies.
Yeah, he killed them, but you know, it's a cool little connection. And also, while we're talking about Vader / Anakin, I think all the memes going around where like, because like, you know, we obviously knew that Grogu was at the Jedi Temple and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah,
and then it's just like, I like you, Grogu. Don't come to the Jedi Temple.
Don't come to the Jedi Temple tomorrow.
Yeah, no,
those are great.
Yeah, no, I think that's great that even Anakin, going towards the dark side can't resist the cuteness of Grogu. So he's like,
of course not.
So he's like, nah, just stay home. No, I think that's great. But so then we get Grogu doing his thing. He's all like meditation. He just like is totally he's totally zen. And he's just like, all right, I'm messing with my skill tree. I'm saving my progress. And they definitely need that progress saved. But yeah, while he's doing that, then I'll let you take it from here, because this, I'm sure, you know, we get into your favorite parts of the episode. Your favorite ship shows up. What happens?
Yeah, so the Slave One basically comes in and docks, and they're all like, oh, what's going on here? He's like, I'm gonna go check this out. You just stay here. And then Grogu's just like, okay, I'm not going anywhere. Grogu is not even listening to what Mando was saying. Then Mando comes by. Hey, what's going on over here? Gets a few shots shot at him. He's like, hey, Mando, give me my armor because it's mine. And I'm just a simple man trying to make my way through the galaxy. Give it to me now, or else, bad stuff's gonna happen. He's like, no. And then, the other ship comes in, the stormtrooper ship, and it drops down, and it's like, oh no, stormtroopers, and then they fight. And he steals his armor anyway because he's Boba Fett, and that's what Boba Fett does. So, yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah, no. So I thought that that was great. So Boba comes out of the ship, and he's like, "What's going on?" And he's like, "I've been tracking you, Mandalorian." That's my best Tamora Morrison. I'll try.
Yeah.
I'm trying.
But I think that's also kind of funny. Oh yeah. Also, he of course saved Fennec's life.
Yeah. So anybody that thought that it was Boba at the end of that episode last season, you were right.
Mm-hmm. And then, of course, he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna kill the child." I don't know why he ever would say, "I'm gonna kill the child."
Oh no, but also here, this is the thing
scary.
too. Is right. So Fennec had her sniper aimed at Grogu, but he was in his meditation zen that nobody could get through. So
no, because the thing is, he didn't know.
Right,
Mando didn't know at that point.
Right, yeah, no, I'm saying it's but even if she tried to shoot at him, I don't think anything would have happened.
What if it force came back to her or something? I don't know. Just pushed back in her face, and she's like, no.
It's kind of funny that. Also, when right before this episode started, remember we were talking about just joking around what the heck would happen in this week, and I basically kind of called this episode out of
you predicted
I predicted it out of order. I said I thought that they would get there, and then Moff Gideon would show up, they would be surrounded, and then Boba Fett would show up and save them. But Boba Fett showed up first, and then Moff Gideon. But it basically the same thing. It was really weird. It's I don't know how I don't know. I'm seeing the future,
basically,
guys.
Though,
maybe I'm a Jedi.
Intense combat scene ensues as Moff Gideon's stormtroopers drop in, and Boba's just going at it with his little stick. I forget the name of it. What's the name of it?
The gaffy stick. Boba doesn't play around. Stick, yes. So it's like when you gotta beat up stormtroopers at 8 and then clean the bantha's teeth at 9.
For real. And then Mando's just trying to get Baby Yoda out of there. He's like, all right, pack your bags. It's time to leave.
No,
or whatever he said.
Pack your bags.
Pack your bags.
We're leaving.
Yeah, basically.
Oh, no. And no, Mando's like, I got some boys with me, 3 of the guys. Oh, my God.
If you haven't seen that,
if you guys don't
watch
know
the
that
interview for...
Oh, man. That was great.
The Commandos game?
Clone Commandos with Tamora Morrison. Go pull it up on YouTube. After the stream, it is hilarious. I'm gonna say this right now. Tamora Morrison has become one of my favorite Star Wars actors recently, just because of if you look at interviews and you see him in these shows, he just loves playing Jango and Boba, and he loves he just loves it, and it just you can't help
even though he might not completely understand everything that's going on, he just still thinks cool.
He thinks that it's cool. And I loved at the end too, when he was just giving all that exposition, he pulls up the Mandalorian thing on his watch. He's like, "This is me, I'm Boba Fett. This is my father, Jango Fett."
So I actually just kind of want to hop around a little bit, right? So let me skip over to that real quick.
Yeah.
Well, yes, of course, combat happens. Go ahead, babe. Boba Fett goes ahead and gets his armor, and he kicks some more butt, and he pushes them off the planet, and then uses a little jetpack, launches it, misses the one that he was trying to hit, the ship he was trying to hit, hits the other ship. Ship comes in, hits the other ship. I was aiming for the other one.
I was aiming for the other one.
But at the end of the episode, when Boba Fett was actually talking about his chain code and he was talking about Jango Fett and all that, it actually was kind of interesting because it is semi how the Legends is, and how Jango Fett not exactly was a foundling, but he became Mandalorian. But I guess you can say yes, because foundlings weren't a thing before. Now they are. So Jango Fett, surprise, surprise, is a foundling. How a lot of us hoped he was.
Right.
And Ulmric was actually lying.
Yes.
As I said Ulmric is not trustworthy
because he's a jerk.
Exactly, and he's not trustworthy.
No, he's not.
And the only reason why he didn't believe that they were Mandalorians were because his group that he was a part of. We don't really know exactly how they're going to put it in the actual story, but
right.
During the Mandalorian Civil War, he lost, of course.
Yeah.
And then they were like basically the whole group of Mandalorians that fought against the ones that won, which were Almeric and all his people. They were disowned by them.
Mhm.
And because of that, well, now we can see that they weren't actually seen as Mandalorians, but he was supposed to have the armor. At the end of the day, and it was his armor. So
yeah, and that's cool. So I like that how Boba now, we know that was Jango's armor that he just repainted, and also Slave 1 is Jango's.
We already kind of knew that. Yeah, we already knew that
we knew that
Boba Fett armor and Slave 1 were already Jango Fett's items, and basically all he did was just take them, repaint them, do a whole bunch of upgrades, and
I think that's so cool though. How Boba is like basically just like carrying on the Jango Fett legacy. But also I found it so interesting in this episode how different he was to how you would think he would be after seeing him like in Clone Wars, where all he wanted to do was go after Mace Windu, and then in obviously the original trilogy, like it seemed like he had allegiance to whoever paid him, basically, right? Yeah. But this episode,
I sent you a video on it, and it's a very interesting video.
Right.
And who was the creator of that? That was Getley?
Possibly. Hold on. I don't even know. Hold on. I'm gonna figure it out. You keep talking about it. I'm gonna pull it up on my phone.
In this video, he was explaining really what kind of person Boba Fett was. And we don't really get to see that because we only get to see him when he was basically a kid. And that's not a really good example of what kind of person he was. I mean, we can also see that he is also very young when he goes into the Sarlacc pit, and when he comes out, he's a lot older. He's a lot more mature. But you can also see that he is somebody, and just like Jango Fett, who really cares about his bounties. He cares about the people behind them, and he also has the ability to choose whatever bounties he wants. If he doesn't like something, if he doesn't agree with it morally, then he won't do it.
Yeah, but the thing is also it's very interesting how he's got a code, which is
not just Mandalorians, but just bounty hunters in general. A decent amount of them, actually have some kind of moral code, and they feel like I will kill or capture anybody that I feel deserves to be killed or captured. And you can see the same thing with Mando himself. He was a bounty hunter, and he'd basically go after anybody. But when it came down to Baby Yoda, he broke his moral code because he felt that it wasn't right.
So I think that's so cool how he's like, all right, I'm going to keep up my end of the deal, right? Is you gave me my armor back. This is something that was very important to me. It was my father's armor, and it's my armor, and I needed it back. So thanks for bringing it back to me. I told you that I would keep you and the child safe. Child's gone. So also, we forgot to talk about this. Vroom, boom, Razor Crest, bye-bye. Yeah. Sorry if you liked the Razor Crest.
The mystery box. Bye-bye,
Yeah, Razor Crest is no more. So it's just Mando, Boba Fett, and Fennec Shand in Slave 1 against against the galaxy now, which is great. But yeah, I think it showed us a very interesting side of Boba Fett that you wouldn't think would be there. If you didn't know a lot about like Legends and you didn't watch this video, it's from Getsley is who it was. Yeah. So go watch that video if you haven't. It's
watch all his videos. He's great.
Yeah, he's really good. I did not know about him until you sent me that video, but it was a very interesting one. And something else that I found interesting, it doesn't really have to do with anything from this episode, but the fact that like he would use the disintegration rifle as like a more humane way of eliminating targets because of how Jango was killed and everything. So I thought that was
because when Jango was killed,
that was kind of interesting too,
is when he got his head chopped off. Basically, the lightsaber cauterized his wounds, and he was able to stay alive for like 10 minutes. So basically, he was just a decapitated head for like 10 minutes.
Yeah,
and
so
that's not a kind way to go out.
Yeah, so Vader like no disintegrations, but like it's actually. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. I mean, if Boba Fett wanted to kill me, sure, he could disintegrate me.
But I mean, also, I kind of do remember seeing something like this where, like, like when Mando would use his disintegration rifle,
that's
the way that he would
true.
use it,
I didn't even.
that it would actually cause more pain, and that it would basically be like every cell of your body gets like burned basically out of existence.
I didn't even think. Think about that. You're right. I forgot that he had that. Yeah. Oh man. Oh, so I guess also that thing got destroyed too, because all that survived was the ball.
Rifle was gone.
So the ball, the only Beskar spear
was now was in Fortnite.
Oh my god. Oh.
We're not even gonna get into that.
Oh anyway, man, you could play as the Mando and Master Chief.
Jetpack?
Oh yeah, that's the other thing. I assume he picked it back up
hopefully
before they left, and it's just on Slave 1 right now, probably.
Yeah. I also like how Boba and Mando are again men of their word, and they just put down their stuff when they said, "Hey, we're gonna put down our stuff and just talk about this stuff."
So how cool is it that this show started off as a Boba Fett solo movie that didn't happen, that turned into a Mandalorian show about a brand new Mandalorian, that they used Boba Fett as the concept art originally for before they knew what Din Djarin looked like. And then we speculated that he would possibly show up. People thought, oh, there's no way he'd show up in season 1. And now they've kind of retroactively said, yeah, that was him in season 1. He showed up in the first episode of season 2. And now it took us to episode 6, where we finally saw Din and Boba team up. And like, that's... If you would have told me episode 1 that we would have seen Din 13 episodes later team up with Boba Fett, I would have told you you're crazy. What kind of spice are you on?
Oh, you also gotta think, okay, does he really, like, do you think that Mando would actually be able to like hang out with like Ahsoka Tano and Bo-Katan? You know, I feel like a lot of times,
that's true too.
It's kind of like I don't want them to do this kind of stuff. I don't want them to go too far with it, but I feel like they're at a certain level where it's not too bad. And where they actually, I don't know, it's just like, it's this point where Mando is somebody, like Din Djarin is somebody that doesn't exactly understand everything that's going on in the Star Wars universe. He doesn't understand everything about Jedi. He doesn't understand even everything about, Mandalorians. And he's kind of just like a new viewer, he's like a lot of the new people that are watching Star Wars because of Mandalorian. And I think that's just very interesting, and even with these characters coming in, we know everything that's going on with them, but they don't, Din doesn't really know, and he doesn't really care, he only cares about the child, and that's it. Even with all that Jedi stuff, he doesn't even really know that.
Okay, so here, while you mention that, when I was going back and rewatching last week's episode also, I saw one line a different way. So when Mando and Ahsoka are about to go in to liberate the town, he's like, a Mandalorian and a Jedi, they'll never see it coming. What if it has a double meaning? What if it's like Din also is force sensitive, like, oh, a Mandalorian and a Jedi, they'll never see it coming, like, oh, the audience would never see it coming that the Mandalorian could also be a Jedi.
That more than anything, I think that it's also more of like a Din and Grogu kind of thing.
Yeah,
like
that's
a Mandalorian
true.
Jedi. Yeah. I know you're trying to also hit home
and also the Tar Vizsla, and the Tar Vizsla thing is like, what if he is like the next Mandalore?
I think that it would be cool, but I don't think that Din would be a force sensitive. And yes, if it happens, everybody's gonna come after me and be like, "Oh, but you said he never could be a force user."
I don't know. I think that
could go.
I think there's a high possibility that it happens.
I think there's a possibility, but I don't think that it's. I wouldn't want that to happen. And I feel like it's just because we haven't really had just a pure Mandalorian just doing Mandalorian things.
Yeah, okay, then that's the other thing is kind of the thing that we talked about a lot before the season even started was how far can this show go to push it like to be its own separate thing, but also still have ties to what we know about Star Wars. Like,
yeah, I mean, because
like obviously they brought in Bo-Katan, they brought in Ahsoka, they brought in Boba Fett. That's a lot of like classic Star Wars stuff.
Well, but I mean, I have no problem if they bring in those
exactly.
kind of characters,
I don't have a problem with that either. But what if they bring in Luke? what if like Luke is the Jedi that's
I mean, that's
Grogu.
fine with me too. I mean, I just think that it's just the idea of making a character that is just a simple man trying to make his way through the galaxy, and turn him into just like the next biggest thing ever. It's just like the Star Wars universe is big and it's important, but I don't feel like every single person has to be the most.
I totally agree with that. It doesn't all
world,
it doesn't all have to connect.
Galaxy.
Right, it doesn't all have to be related. That's why I kind of am against the whole thing that Moff Gideon's plan ties into Palpatine or Snoke or something like that.
I could understand
that's why
that,
I don't like that personally.
Yeah, but I mean, I could also understand if it's with Grand Admiral Thrawn and all that.
Yeah, that's true too. So could he be working for Thrawn? I don't know. There's a lot of interesting directions that this could go in. So here, before we get into the last bit of this episode, a couple other things that I wanted to mention were the fact that obviously we learned in this episode that Jango was a foundling, just like Mando. Yep. And Boba is the son of a foundling. Grogu is now, for more or less, Din's son, the son of a foundling.
I mean, he's a foundling.
So, right, and they're all foundlings. So I think that's very interesting. Again, a George Lucas thing. It's like poetry, it rhymes. Din and Grogu mirrors the relationship of Boba and Jango. And because Boba was brought up around Jango, who is a bounty hunter who kind of like take no stuff from anyone, was a little bit, just like kind of not the greatest dude of all time. That's why Boba wasn't maybe the best early on, but it seems like with age he's become a lot more honorable. But then that's the thing too that you see with Grogu, is that at the end of the episode, after he's been taken by the Dark Troopers, he seems to have a little bit of dark side in him, and that's something that Ahsoka...
I wouldn't exactly say dark side. He has a little bit of fight in him.
He has anger. He has anger, and that's what Ahsoka said too. I also
feel like another thing is, I feel like a lot of people, I mean, at least personally, I feel like there's no problem if a Force user wants to use a little bit of dark, And
right,
I mean,
also Luke,
Mace Windu, you know?
I know. Also, Luke used Force choke at the beginning of 6, so that's But what were you saying about Windu?
Well, no, I mean, I'm just saying in general. I mean, I feel like, and I think this is something that's very important for the future of Star Wars, is the whole idea of what makes a Jedi and a Sith. Does it really matter how much of this kind of Force or that kind of Force powers you use? And I feel like there's also something that comes in with like a Grey Jedi, and why I think that an Ahsoka series would be great.
Oh yeah,
is because it kind of explains what a Grey Jedi is. Do they have to use one set of Force powers or another, or what?
That's what I kind of wanted from episode 9, like that was my original theory, was that, why it was called like Rise of Skywalker or whatever, is that they would take it and say like a Skywalker was a Force user, not a Sith, not a Jedi, but just like another word for a Grey Jedi, so you don't have to say Grey Jedi, is like just a Force user in general. So I think I still think that that's the direction that they need to take Star Wars at some point, is like, say, hey, we don't need Sith, we don't need Jedi, we need to find a way to balance both of them, because, powerful light, powerful dark, they're important to, work side by side, so that you're not, leaning far towards one side or too far towards the other side. It was very interesting. I think again, mentioning Star Wars theory, but I think it was Theory and Den of Nerds on their podcast stream. They mentioned how when we first heard of Tython, is they mentioned how, it's like an ancient Jedi thing, but in the past is they were a lot more balanced. So if somebody went too light side, they would send them off to a dark side place to kind of balance them out a bit, or if somebody went too far dark side, they would send them off to a light side place to balance them out a little bit more. And I thought that was really interesting.
I feel like in general, just the idea of balance in the Star Wars universe is very interesting, because you also have to think, if there's very few Sith, as in like the time during the Clone Wars when there was very, very few Sith. I mean, even then, there was a good amount of Sith. But when you okay, let's look at. Well, actually, they're also good. But basically, the idea of if there are very few Sith and a lot of Jedi, does that mean that the Sith are also very powerful? You know,
right? Is it's like are they right? Is like are the like for the rule of two, right?
Mm-hmm.
So are two Sith splitting the amount of power that like 1,000 Jedi have to split?
Yeah.
Or is everybody individually powerful? And you would think that from at least episode 9, where Palpatine was like, "Oh no, I'm all the Sith. I'm the only Sith." That like supposedly having less Sith would leave more power for the one remaining. But like, I don't know. I don't know. Also, like,
it doesn't really make a lot of sense.
Right, it doesn't make a lot of sense. And, you know, like, Anakin was miles ahead of a lot of people when there were thousands of Jedi. So, like, does it matter?
Also, the TV shows, the movies kind of make a lot of the Jedi Masters to look like a bunch of losers, you know, too. I mean, I'm not trying to be mean, but, like, I mean, a lot of them just get, like, cut down like it's nothing, you know?
Yeah. Some of them deserved it, like Ki-Adi Mundi.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
My man's Ki-Adi Mundi is not that nice now, is he?
No, he's not. He's not a great person. Go. Yeah. I suggest you research that. Yeah. If you don't know what we're talking about, refer back to the dude that we mentioned earlier talking about Boba Fett.
Yeah. But looking actually at what kind of Force user Baby Yoda is going to be, right? Or Grogu.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was thinking, what if at a point, because there's a lot of Jedi now, what if Grogu kind of goes more towards the dark side? And this is like a crazy theory, right?
Right.
What if you know, Moff Gideon wins this season, and what if he kind of takes in Baby Yoda as kind of like a little
what if he tries to like what if he tries to train him, because he was like, okay, so he was toying with him a little bit at the end of this episode, and he was like oh, look at this, look at this dark saber,
where he's like good Anakin,
right, like,
you know?
and it exactly is like he looked like he was happy that he was force choking the stormtroopers.
And something that kind of it reminded me of actually is it reminded me of when Darth Vader was actually going to get Starkiller. Well, he wasn't going to get Starkiller, when he was killing his dad, basically.
Right.
And in that scene...
Right. I know exactly what you're talking about.
What happens, but I remember that Starkiller either like force pushed some clone.
Yeah. Is he...
Or like pulled like a lightsaber on him. I know he pulled out the lightsaber at some point. He took Darth Vader's lightsaber.
Oh, yeah, I think that's what happened. I think he like force pulled it to him or something.
I don't know. I think I do remember him like taking down some stormtroopers though, and Darth Vader just kind of standing there like, oh, maybe this one's possibly an apprentice.
Oh, a surprise to be sure, but a welcome one.
So it really makes me question if there's a possibility that even for like a season, you know, and then, you know, Grogu's like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah. So, okay. So here, was Moff Gideon like evilly proud because he saw Grogu force choking the stormtroopers, or was he just like proud that, oh, I got the asset back, he's got his force powers still, this is gonna be fun?
Also, it's about him being just like a donor. Like, does he just see him as a donor? But it also depends on why he wants him as a donor.
Right. So
if he possibly sees that, I'm sorry, I just keep on continuing.
No, you're fine. No, you're fine. You're fine. Keep going. Keep going.
If Moff Gideon has somebody in front of him, like somebody ahead of him, you know, like let's say Thrawn or Snoke or, you know, Palpatine, whoever, right? If he has those people in front of him, what if he thinks, what if I take this Grogu kid, and he looks pretty powerful, what if I use him to go ahead and kill whoever is above me, and then now I am the one on top, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just something I'm thinking of.
So what if he tries to take
a bit of time for Grogu to get a little bit more powerful?
What if he tries to take him on as an apprentice?
Yeah.
So okay. What is Moff Gideon's plan? What is his play here? What does he want? Other than obviously he wants Grogu to donate his blood because of the high metachlorian count for something. Is Moff Gideon Force sensitive? Is he Mandalorian? Is he trying to make himself force sensitive? Is he trying to make force sensitive dark troopers? Is this to bring Palpatine or Snoke or
I think
what's
there's
going
I think
on
there's only
here?
I think those are one of the only 3 possibilities. And to be completely honest right now, I have no idea.
Right, but
And I feel like
still
this is
think
something that we're gonna have
there's
to look towards. And
I
I feel
still
like
think
there's either somebody like ahead of him that he's trying to give these powers to
Right.
because he wants some of that respect.
right.
He's trying to become the powerful one, and then he's gonna figure out later, oh, there's somebody more powerful than me, and then he just like gets his head chopped off or something.
Yeah. So
And
here,
then the third option is just that he's trying to make some powerful people that will follow him. There's only 3 possibilities. Well,
Okay,
unless we're completely
so-
wrong and just
here,
you know.
this is okay. I'm gonna make a theory here.
Mhm.
So what if, let's say, to put them on the same ground, right? Let's say Moff Gideon is actually is Mandalorian. Like he grew
Right.
up on in a Mandalorian family or something.
Mhm.
Maybe he's a foundling as well.
Right.
Right. So what if he is a Mandalorian and he has learned about the lore of the Darksaber and how, whoever wields the Darksaber kind of rules over Mandalore. He
Yeah.
knows about Tar Vizsla, the Mandalorian Jedi who created it. He sees, he's like, oh, I want this power for myself. I want to take over Mandalore. So he goes out, he seeks out the Darksaber. He somehow gets it from Bo-Katan, either wins it or uses his Imperial force to steal it, takes the Darksaber, and is like, all right, that's step 1 of my plan. Now I want
Step
to...
one,
Yeah, he's like...
secure the keys.
Step
Yeah.
1, secure the keys, yeah. And then, so step 2 is he wants to
Ascend from
secure...
darkness.
Right, yeah, is he wants to secure the Force abilities. And I think that that's very
So
interesting.
are you trying to say that basically all this is just to take over Mandalore?
I think I
think that's too small. I think that's too small for him.
No,
I feel like if at this point, if he really wanted to take over Mandalore, do you think that he would not be able to? I mean, Mandalore is completely broken. If he was in the siege of Mandalore, why didn't he just take it then? And just wipe everybody off the planet. And also now he has all these basically a legion of dark troopers, and we haven't really seen them in combat. But I think they're gonna kick some serious butt. So I mean, also he has all these ships and all this stuff.
Yeah.
I don't understand why he would not be able to take the planet now. There would be almost, in my opinion, 0 reason as to why he would be unable to take the planet.
Yeah.
I feel like there has to be something else. I just feel like it would make no sense if all this was just for one planet.
Yeah,
he could easily take.
Yeah, that's... I don't know. So
I'm not trying to turn down your theory.
No, I
I'm
know.
just
I
saying that
I just
think that it'd just be.
I'm not saying I even agree with this theory. I'm just trying to think of something like what is his purpose? Like, and then I'm also trying to relate him and put him on the same level as Din, right? So if we're gonna go with what we think is, what if he is force sensitive?
I think that this is like one of those math problems where you don't have enough.
I don't. I know. I don't think we have. We don't have all the variables yet.
There's so much that you can say, and there's so many possibilities at this point.
Right.
I feel like it's almost impossible to figure out what the answer is without gathering a little bit more about who he is, what kind of a person he is.
Right. We don't know enough about him yet. We don't know enough about Moff Gideon yet. It's just, he's got a cool black cape and the Darksaber somehow.
He's basically Darth Vader, minus the helmet.
Yeah, he's Darth Vader without the helmet and a black lightsaber.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. All I know is Mando has the Beskar spear for a reason. He's gonna clash. Yeah. He's gonna clash with Moff Gideon within the next couple of episodes. So
yeah.
So we end off the episode with Boba, Mando, and Fennec all getting in the ship because they're the new trio. They get in Slave One, they fly to Navarro, and Din asks Cara Dune to look up Mayfeld from last season from the prison episode because he thinks that he's the key to finding Moff Gideon because he knows Imperial stuff, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I think that could kind of be interesting But I mean, I don't know. We'll have to really see what he can do. I don't think that things are going to go according to plan whatsoever.
Yeah, I do.
I feel
Yeah,
like the
I just
episode is going to be
I
a
feel
lot
like that
deeper
this
than we
is
think.
a
And also,
yeah.
I think it's probably going to be flashing back and forth between what Baby Yoda's going through
Yeah,
and what's going with Mando.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think that's going to be a small portion of the plot, but we'll really have to see what they're going to be doing with that. I think it's interesting to bring him back. I think that he was a cool character, and I think all those people were really cool characters.
Yeah, I think he's pretty funny. So
I just feel like
the dude's a comedian in real life, so I mean,
it's gonna be interesting what's gonna be going on with him.
Yeah, I don't know. That one's kind of the only thing from the episode that I was just like, huh?
Oh, okay.
I was like, okay. Oh, okay, sure.
So you can call up a Jedi, and you can call up Bo-Katan, who was actively tracking
it's like
these
why?
people.
Yeah, it's like why didn't you go for Bo-Katan? Why didn't you go?
Criminal.
Yeah, let's just get this dude that was in one episode that like you kind of hate his guts, but sure. I don't know. I don't know what's going on here, but so I'm guessing like the first bit of next week will be a prison break, and then them going after Moff Gideon and probably getting there, and then the final and then the final episode I think is the big like it's everybody versus Moff Gideon.
The world as we
right,
know
it's everybody versus Moff Gideon and the Dark Troopers, and it's gonna be an all-out battle to save Baby Yoda. I thought it was like if you looked at the concept art there at the end, I thought it was like super sad. Like you could see like Baby Yoda literally like crying as they
I think the only possible thing is that maybe at the end of this season, Mando's gonna beat Moff Gideon, get the Darksaber, and be like, "Oh, what do I do now?"
I don't. But I don't think
like,
that's gonna. I don't think that's gonna happen.
Season ends with Mando beating Moff Gideon, gets the Darksaber, and then Bo-Katan kneels to him. I'd be like, "Oh,
no,
what?"
I don't think that's gonna happen at all. I actually,
no.
People have, I forget who said it, but somebody said that this season is like their Empire Strikes Back. I don't think that this is going to end the way we want it to end. I don't think it's gonna end on a.
What if Baby Yoda goes evil, and then Mando's trying to fight him, and then Baby Yoda's like,
I don't think he's gonna fight Baby Yoda. I just don't think that this is.
He's gonna fight Baby Yoda. I'm saying, what if he's fighting Moff Gideon, and then he's about to kill Moff Gideon, and then Baby Yoda like force pulls him back, and he's like, "Let's get out of here, Moff Gideon." I don't know why he would have such a change of heart though.
I just don't think
that makes kind of no sense too.
I just don't think this episode is gonna end on a good note.
This is something, and I say it like every stream, but we'll have to continue watching to figure out.
No,
I feel
but
like
I don't think this season is gonna end on a high note. I think it's going to end on. I think it's gonna end like Empire. I think it's gonna end bittersweet. I think it's gonna end in a good way with the fact that Mando has picked up new friends with Boba and Fennec and Slave One, since he doesn't have Razor Crest anymore. But I think it's going to end on a bad note with the fact that I don't think they're going to get Baby Yoda back this season. I think we're literally going to go a year without Grogu. I think Gideon is going to have Grogu at the end of this season, and he is going to come out victorious. That's just me. I think that's just from a storytelling perspective, and we know that there's going to be a third season, most likely more seasons after that. I feel like this is a 5 to 6 season show. I think they're going to get to around, like, I think if you do the math, I think if you have 8 episodes for every season up to season 6, and if you make season 6 a 10-episode season, you'll get 50 chapters in total.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. They know what they're doing. They know that
they know what they're doing. Right, exactly. And they know that people love it. They know that it's going to have a new season.
Chapters and chapters and seasons and all that good stuff.
Yeah, so I don't...
part of their plan.
I don't know. Like, it just... I don't want to think about the fact that we could possibly go a year with Grogu in captivity, but, like...
I think it's going to happen. I don't think they're going to
prepare yourself. Yeah, prepare yourself. It might happen. The other theory that's been thrown around a lot is that Mando doesn't have a ship right now. Boba Fett has a ship. people want Mando to have Slave 1. And people think that they've brought Boba Fett back just to show that he is a badass character, but they're going to send him out in a much more heroic, triumphant way, kind of give him a proper death. Yeah. What do you think about that? Because and then they think that, and then people think that the series is going to be like a what happened on Tatooine.
Someone's gonna have to die at some point, I think.
Yeah.
And if it's Boba Fett, I'm gonna be sad. I'm going to be sad.
I just don't see it. I'm going to be sad, I just don't see it happening.
But I will understand.
Yeah,
I would understand, but it'd be sad. Yeah, and then it would make us watch Boba Fett when he was younger, which then also brings in the thing that they might bring back whatever his name is.
Daniel Logan.
Yeah, Daniel Logan. But we'll have to see.
Yeah, I think it's a possibility. I think it's a possibility.
And then the other thing is, if he dies, then he can take his armor and then give it back to Cobb
and then Cobb Vanth can get the armor
then,
back. And I don't know.
It's a possibility. It would suck so much if they just bring him back just to kill him.
I don't want that to happen.
Do that. I hate when they bring characters back just to kill them off, and it's just like, dude.
Right. The only thing worse than a character being dead for a while and then them being like, oh, nope, they're back. Is them doing that,
killing them again,
and then killing them again.
Yeah, I would kind of be mad, but at the same exact time, I could understand. But also, it'd be like, only we really have a connection with Boba Fett. Nobody really knows who Boba Fett is. Nobody cares about him in the show, really.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the other thing.
So,
what if Bo-Katan dies? What if Bo-Katan dies, and now then it falls on Mando to lead Mandalore?
So okay,
it's like, what?
And then the other thing, what if Boba doesn't die, but what if it ends in a double cross? I don't think that's going to happen. That's the other thing that's been thrown around, but I think his genuine shock at the return of the Empire means that there's no double cross happening.
Well, also the other thing is he didn't really like the Empire. He just kind of worked with them.
just worked with them.
Because,
and I think,
it's just like,
what else are you
going to work with?
Right. And
the Republic?
If we're going
they don't exist.
And if we're going with the whole, Mandalorian code, I don't think that there's any double cross happening. I think, I think
he
Boba
seems like a man of his word.
I think Boba and Phase Fennec are in it for the long haul.
And also, Mando, he got him his armor back, basically.
Right. So now he's indebted to him.
Yeah, and it's the same thing with Fennec and him. Right. Fennec is indebted to him.
Exactly.
Now
it's
now they're both indebted to Mando.
Exactly. So yeah, I think
that's all I really got for Mando, though.
Yeah. Only thing.
Great episode. Can't wait for more. What?
Yeah. Last thing on the episode. Boba Fett is Boba Fett. My boy is an absolute unit.
Okay, he is a unit.
He is a power lifter. Anybody who says otherwise,
I'm okay. As a big Boba Fett fan, I will say maybe he gained just a little bit.
He's got the thick cloak on under the armor and everything. Yeah. He's been out in the deserts of Tatooine. I think so. I think so too. I think the rest of it's probably in there somewhere. But okay, here
just a little bit, just a
teeny
bit.
No, he's got some gains, bro.
Of course.
He's just a power lifter. He's just a power lifter. He's not shredded. He's just he's just powerlifting.
Just a little, guys.
Nah.
But what's up next on the schedule, Brody?
Next up here. Before we get to that, though, I want one more thing that I kind of just thought of before we move on from the episode. I know you want to move on.
Watch it be a joke.
It's not a joke. So if Boba had Slave 1 in this episode, why was he still on... Like, if he knew Cobb Vanth had his armor and he had Slave 1, why didn't he just go take it and leave?
I think that's a very good point. And to answer the question... I got no idea. Personally, I don't. It makes no sense. But I think there's some in-universe reasoning. Maybe he didn't know that Cobb Vanth had it. until because here's the thing that I'm thinking. I think that he took it and then he saw Mando have it with the little. I don't know. Maybe he was just tracking down Mando. Maybe the whole time he was just tracking Mando. But I don't know why he would just track Mando.
Well, because of Fennec. I think he didn't.
True.
I don't think Mando was on his radar until he found Fennec.
Yeah, and I think that maybe they didn't really realize that. Actually, maybe here's what happened. So they know how Mando probably, when he came on the planet, they probably figured out that, oh, he's looking for a Mandalorian. They're like, maybe the Mandalorian has your armor. And they're like, okay, let's go track him down, basically. They track him down. They're watching him. They're like, oh, who's this guy? Why does he have my armor on? Who's this guy? You know? And they figure out that his name is like Cobb Vanth and stuff, which probably they easily can do. And he was like, oh, let's not go after him yet. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know why they were tracking down Mando for so long and why they were just like following behind him, but they were like, this moment right here seems like the perfect time.
Yeah, this moment when he's just out in the open, this giant light beam.
Yeah. I mean, they probably were like, well, I mean, we're not going to go when there's like Bo-Katan.
Right.
Like, well, we're not going to go when there's like Ahsoka Tano, you know?
Yeah. Wait, does Boba know Ahsoka? I don't remember.
Probably.
Did they interact in Clone Wars?
Well, I mean, he probably just saw like Jedi and was like, nope.
Yeah,
not again.
It was like, oh no, yeah, lightsabers and Fets don't. Lightsabers and Fets don't mix.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
But I mean, there's a bunch of other occasions where he could have, like on the ice planet again. He probably could have just came down. Exactly. But also the other thing is, New Republic was there, and he was probably like, dang, they know who I am. They probably will kill me.
Okay. Last thing though, I hope he uses the seismic charge so we get the.
Oh yeah.
Boom.
Yeah, that stuff's great.
Okay, that's it. I could talk forever on.
I like
this.
how you said that's the last thing. That's the last thing.
This is the last thing.
I always think that's funny. You do that every
because
stream.
I know I do, because then I keep thinking of stuff and I'm like, did I say everything?
Wait a minute.
Okay, so here, before we move on, one more thing. Which episode? So there's a debate. Which episode did you like better?
I like the Boba Fett episode
or the Ahsoka episode.
Boba Fett, Bo-Katan, Ahsoka. No hate, but I love my Mandos. So, how about you?
Oh, I think I'll go Ahsoka episode, Boba Fett episode, then Bo-Katan episode.
Dang, you really didn't like that Bo-Katan?
I liked it. I liked it.
I'm playing.
But like, I liked these. Like, it's just order of like the one that I liked.
It's like, here's the thing. It's like a 10 out of 10, a 9.9 out of 10, and then
and then a 9.8 out of 10. Right,
you know?
exactly. Is it just like, that's that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so here, next thing that I have here on the list, Cassian Andor series is filming now. That's that. I mean, here's the thing. I'm not really caring that much for it, and I think there'd be a bunch of other good stuff to do. I'm not saying that he's a bad character. I'm just saying it's just like, I'm like, okay, cool. It's film. Yeah, we'll have to wait until we get some like a trailer or something for it. Like
it could be good.
I was never like super hyped for it. I didn't care too much about Rogue One. Like, I think a lot of people say that,
but I feel like it was just like a filler. It was just kind of like, this is what happened.
Well, we're
just gonna kill off these characters.
This is the thing. A lot of people say, "Oh, Rogue One is the best Disney Star Wars movie." That's because Vader's in it.
Yeah,
like
Vader was
if
also
you
really
take
cool
if you take out all the.
I also kind of like the Solo stuff too, because it had
I liked Solo more than Rogue One, because think about it this way: if you take the Vader scenes out of Rogue One, then what is there? There's nothing.
Well, no, I actually did really like the scare fight. The scare fight was really cool.
Yeah.
I liked the villains. Tarkin, yes, was, CGI. But,
Krennic was cool.
Krennic was cool. I liked him as a villain.
But he was only cool because he interacted with Vader.
No, not
Do
really.
not be careful not to choke on your aspirations, director.
But I think that was also kind of cool, is because it was his idea and everybody's just like taking it, I think that's kind of funny about it.
We stand on the midst of my achievements. Not yours.
Not yours.
Yeah, I mean, there's some quotable
also,
stuff in it.
I loved the Death Troopers. The Death Troopers were really cool.
Yeah, okay.
And I think that was a great addition.
Okay.
Death Troopers are like my no, they are my most favorite stormtrooper ever, and they're really cool. I really like them. Also, I just like their I just think that stuff's cool.
Oh, I did like the stormtrooper banter in this episode. Flank him, you idiot.
He's like, "What, sir?" Gets shot in the head.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe I liked Rogue One better if you put in the Vader scenes and stuff. I don't know. I don't know.
Vader scenes are cool, but I mean, it's
Vader
also
scenes
like,
are super cool.
what if you take out the Han Solo scene?
Yeah, if you take out, well, I mean, if you take out the Darth Maul scene, it doesn't really change much.
Well, yeah, but I mean, what if you take out the Lando scenes? It's like, no. I mean, but it's like it's different because it's not comparable. It's like if they did like a Darth Vader movie, you know, it's like, well, Darth Vader's in the movie because it's a Darth Vader movie. You know?
Yeah, that's
if you know, Han Solo's in the Han Solo movie, why is Lando in the Han Solo movie, and why is Chewie in the Han Solo movie? Because they're friends. That's why. Yeah,
I don't know, but like, again, I think it's just kind of like we'll have to wait and see what this show is about. I would like for them to call this show Fulcrum, though. Because remember, because I think Cassian was like, he was Fulcrum during that movie, and then Ahsoka eventually was Fulcrum. So I think that would actually be an interesting idea. Like, what if they called it Fulcrum? What if each season was a different Fulcrum?
And like it could just be like 3 different seasons, one for each era.
Maybe.
I don't know. Could be interesting.
That'd be kind of cool.
What if what's her name? Whatever Poe's ex was. What if she was Fulcrum? That'd be kind of cool.
Oh,
I kind of liked her, but she just like was only in the movie for like 5 seconds, and I was like, I was like, what?
I don't know. Okay. Like, I didn't really understand her that much. Like, I was like, what's up with like the getup? Because it like kind of looked like a discount Mando thing. Like, I mean, I don't know.
It kind of reminded me of like a character from Mass Effect. I forget the race of characters on Mass Effect.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know. Like, I thought she looked cool, but like, there wasn't that much there.
Who knows?
I don't know. So yeah, Cassian Andor, that's filming. If you care about it, it's a thing. It's a thing. Yeah. A lot of people didn't think it would ever get off the ground, so there you go. There you go. It's happening. So I guess that's just something else to add to our future Star Wars Disney Plus shows.
Yeah. I think, to be honest, if they ever were going to do more of these Star Wars story things, I think it would make more sense to have each one be a condensed small story per season and just call it a Star Wars story, you know, or something.
Yeah.
And each season there's a different Star Wars story.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly much prefer especially now with just the state of everything, I much prefer series to movies.
Yeah. Series are good, but I mean, I do like movies for small little things, but like when it comes to like a bigger kind of story, and some of these can be, it's just kind of like, well, if there's a lot that can be put in there, then why not make it like a little short series? Like, I know you don't like the even before it's out, I know you don't like the Snyder Cut, but Justice League Snyder Cut, but I mean, you gotta admit, there's a lot of content there, and that's probably what was missing from the actual movie. But now that they're actually going to be doing it that way, and now they're actually going to be doing like 4 1-hour things, and they're separating the chapters and all that.
Part,
I mean, old movies were separated into chapters, you know?
Yeah. No, I mean,
like Babe. Babe was separated into like chapters, if I remember correctly.
What about?
I mean, nobody probably remembers what Babe is.
Babe Pig in the City.
No, it wasn't Babe Pig in the City. It was the first one, man. I've never seen Babe Pig in the City. I think it might be good though. I don't know. I have to see it at some point.
I don't know.
Anyway, what I'm trying to say though is that these series are actually, I feel, better for some shows or some movies, some properties, but not for others. You know, some things don't need all this time. Like the second season of Stranger Things did not need all those episodes.
No. Yeah. They did not.
The Witcher needs all those episodes, and it probably could have done with more, you know. And just some things are very short, and that's fine. They're short and they're contained. That's what movies should be. But when it comes down to having like massive amount of lore and content in it, no, it shouldn't be it has to be a TV series.
You made me think of a joke. Every time I see a new episode of The Mandalorian, you're shorter than I expected.
Exactly. Or it makes me just it just reminds me of that one meme we saw. We gotta get some milk.
Oh no, Baby Yoda drank all the milk.
I swear, if I had that meme, I would post it right now.
Oh man, that's hilarious. So next topic is this is basically it. We got this and then one more thing to talk about, so this won't be too much longer. Probably another like 10-15 minutes ish. But I wanted to talk about the Hawkeye Disney Plus series that is filming now. It's filming in New York, I believe. So we've got Hawkeye, we've got Kate Bishop, and we have Lucky the pizza dog.
Pizza dog, yay.
Lucky the pizza dog, the goodest boy of all time.
And you got your boy Deaf Hawkeye. Or going deaf Hawkeye.
Possibly. Yeah, so
legally deaf.
Some people are saying that it looks like he's got the hearing aid in, which would be a very cool thing for them to do, because that's such a big part of his character in the comics. Yeah. And I know a lot of people aren't big Hawkeye fans. I personally,
but it gives him
a lot. Yeah, it makes his character a lot deeper, and I think that's something that he needed. A lot of, like, this is the thing. If you ask anybody, an MCU fan, about Hawkeye, they're like, Hawkeye's okay. He shoots a bow and arrow. Yeah. They're like, I liked Ronan though. He was kind of cool. Yeah. But I
feel like the whole point of the character is his dilemma of, am I, good enough to be a Avenger?
Yeah, and I think that's going to also be an interesting part of this series, too, is, does he, he obviously, I think this is going to take place a couple years after Endgame. I think it's 2025. So he's going to, I guess, have this dilemma of trying to pass on the mantle of Hawkeye, because I guess it's time for him to retire. He's been trying to retire forever. He's been trying to retire, and they keep bringing him back. So I guess the dilemma is going to be, is he worthy to train another Hawkeye? And that's going to be...
I wouldn't even say worthy to train another Hawkeye. I mean, it's just... The other question is... He's probably also going to think about this is there a need for another Hawkeye? Should I even train and get my daughter into this kind of stuff? Because
but Kate Bishop is not his daughter.
Well,
That's the whole point.
Oh, wait. I was thinking about something else. I was thinking about when his daughter picked up the mantle.
Yeah, no. So Kate Bishop is a completely different...
I'm thinking something completely different. I knew that it was Kate Bishop, but I didn't even...
Yeah, I mean, it's...
That was on me. Basically, what I'm trying to say is...
Sometimes
is there a need for Hawkeye?
Right, is there a need for another Hawkeye?
Is there a need for this new girl, Kate Bishop? Yes, she really wants to be Hawkeye, but is there a need for her? Is she really somebody that the world needs?
Exactly. And I think that this is good setup, because we've been talking about this for a while, but it seems like they are slowly moving towards Young Avengers.
Yeah.
They aged up Ant-Man's daughter, so she'll eventually, at this point, she'll be ready to be, Stature, I guess?
Oh, I don't know. No, I don't know.
And then, you'll have Kate Bishop. You'll have...
Spider-Man.
Yeah, you'll have Spidey, who probably would end up leading them, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, also... The only other people that could are actually going to be Captain Marvel, maybe, but she's not really the Young Avenger.
No.
She's probably going to be leading
Miss Marvel. Miss Marvel.
Well, yeah, Miss Marvel.
Miss Marvel,
which they're actually recording that show.
Yeah, that's filming now. That's filming now also.
Yeah, which is interesting. That could be very interesting as well. I think that she might actually be closer to her Avengers video game counterpart. Supposedly she's really good in the game. I remember in the beta she was pretty cool.
What is it? Monica Rambeau. She is going to be in WandaVision.
Possibly.
So, not possibly. I think it's confirmed.
That's confirmed.
Yeah, no, that's confirmed. I think she's in the trailer.
Dang. Yeah, I mean, that's who we thought it was.
Older Monica Rambeau, so she could possibly be in Young Avengers as well.
And then also you got to think about Tony Stark's daughter. But she's
she wouldn't be... she wouldn't be old enough. Yeah, she wouldn't be old enough. at this point.
But I think that she's somebody that maybe at some point Peter
eventually
might have to train,
eventually
which would be kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Then who else is there? Shuri's kind of there too now. I don't know. That's a very complicated thing.
Let's not talk about that.
That's kind of complicated, but it depends on what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
Just sounds like that's the direction they're going in.
Right. So
because I think they're starting to film that too, or they're at least in development of it.
In pre-production or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I think
who else is there? I don't remember who else was there. Who else is left?
I'm trying to think. I
don't know. There's so many characters now.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's looking at my wall. Is there anybody else?
That's.
I guess you could technically. Well, I mean, he's not a kid, but I mean, I guess you could also see, not exactly Winter Soldier, but Falcon, I guess.
Yeah,
not really.
I mean,
he could also just be. He could be leading the main Avengers.
Right. He could be leading the main Avenger. He could be. I don't know. He could either. He could also kind of put together the Young Avengers for them and kind of be like their go-to, kind of their
yeah. I mean,
they're like
here's
their
the thing. You have to
chaperone.
think about who's going to be leading the main Avengers now. It has to be somebody that's been around for a while.
I think it's Doctor Strange. I think that's the
Doctor
obvious
Strange
choice.
Could also lead, yeah. But
I think it's Doctor Strange, or it's possibly Captain Marvel, just because she's one of the more powerful.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think that power level should really matter. I think that it comes down to who's been on the team
if power
for
level
longest
mattered, then that would be
and really
that would be Scarlet
understands
Witch.
what has to be done. I mean, of course, if it comes down to power level, I mean, she's going to kick butt.
Yeah.
But I mean, also you have to think what's going to be happening with Thor: Love and Thunder. Is there going to be a new Thor getting picked up from there?
I think the whole thing is, yes, they're introducing the Jane Foster Thor, but I don't think that they're getting rid of the, of the current Thor.
Also,
Thor.
what about what's her name? What about She-Hulk as well?
Yeah, right. Okay, so some people are thinking that She-Hulk could end up being Peter's lawyer in Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
But I still like the Daredevil theory.
Mm-hmm.
I want the Daredevil theory to happen, but it's more likely. Right, but it's more likely if they're going to do that, it's going to be She-Hulk because that series is already in the works.
Makes a lot of sense.
It's already gonna happen. So that would make sense. But also, Marvel did get the rights to Daredevil back, and that's why a lot of people have been like, the hashtag Save Daredevil thing is back.
Yeah.
So yeah, hashtag save Daredevil because it's an amazing show and it needs to be brought back. And my boy Charlie Cox needs another crack at the character because he was amazing.
But my boy Punisher. So.
Yeah, John Bernthal. Oh man.
Yeah.
They need to bring this stuff back.
Yeah.
I think that's obvious. That's just money waiting to happen there.
But I think that more than anything, this is just a good step forward, and it's going to be leading to a whole bunch of other things that are going to be going on in the Marvel Universe.
Yeah,
this is going to be their new phase, I guess. The new
it's phase 4 now. Right.
Yeah. But I mean, also at some point,
and then it's big multiverse stuff with WandaVision, which is coming out.
The other question is, at some point, when is all this stuff not exactly going to stop? But when are they going to hit a point where they run out of characters and they run out of, new things to do? Because now they're hitting the new characters now. And it's just like, well, what are you going to do after this? Are you just going to have these new characters for like ever, basically?
Yeah, I don't...
or what? Or are they going to have to restart the universe at some point? Who knows?
I don't know. That would be interesting. You never really want to... You never were really thinking about that, but the MCU has been going on... MCU's been going on for a while. Yeah. So, how much longer? Are they going to
last like another 10 years?
That's what they want to do. Like they've got that plan right now.
But then it's like, what are they going to do after that? Are people going to even remember the original Avengers movies?
That's why a lot of people are kind of, I don't want to say giving up on it, but people are done. Yeah, after Endgame, people are done. But like, I don't know. I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yeah.
It's weird. I'm a big Marvel fan. I don't cover it much on the channel because I don't feel as comfortable talking about it because there are a lot of other people that talk about Marvel stuff on YouTube. Marvel's an interesting topic on YouTube. There's a lot of clickbait out there. There's a lot of just like stuff you don't want to touch with it, if that makes any sense. Like, I'll do my trailer reactions, I'll do some movie reviews and stuff. We'll talk about WandaVision on stream. I'll probably react to the Hawkeye trailer whenever that comes out. I might, we'll talk about that on stream too, because I'm really excited about that, because I'll be controversial again. Hawkeye is like my favorite Avenger, so sue me. But I don't know. It just, I feel more comfortable talking about DC and Star Wars because I know more about it.
Yeah, we also know that a lot better than we know.
Right, we know
Marvel,
it a lot better. And like, yeah, a lot of this stuff for Marvel, I don't want to like pretend I know everything, because I don't. I mean, I don't know everything about DC stuff either. Like,
but we know it at least a little bit better.
We know it a lot better.
Yeah.
So that's
kind
of
about stuff that happens in Marvel comics.
That's kind of and also Marvel comics are frankly kind of boring compared to DC.
I don't
sometimes
like them as much as DC comics, to be honest. To be completely honest,
right?
And I feel like
if you can,
it's the big difference between Marvel and DC, and I feel that DC, and I've been asked this question before, and I feel that DC is kind of more relatable, even though it's a whole bunch of like, oh yes, they're gods and all this, but are they?
Right,
it's like, a lot more down to earth.
It's like, here, name one recent Marvel comic run. Like,
what, like Civil War 2? No,
I don't know. I don't know. It's like, the last
but
thing.
I can name you a whole bunch of DC ones.
Exactly. It's like, three right, 3 Jokers, Joker War. They're setting up future states. They, DC Metal, all the Flash stuff
Dead
with
Planet.
Yeah, is deceased. Deceased. There's so much cool stuff going on in
also,
DC comics right now.
That happened a little while ago that I really thought was really good, and I feel like it doesn't get that much love. Is what was the name? I literally just had it. What was the name of the one where they were at Sanctuary and all that?
Heroes in Crisis.
Yeah, Heroes in Crisis. I thought that one was really good.
Then all the Wally West stuff with Speed Metal. With him with like the Mobius chair and stuff like that,
and also all the Watchmen stuff going on there.
Right, like that's some crazy stuff. But like the craziest thing that what do I remember? Like I watch a lot of comic story and stuff to like keep up with comics, because I'm not constantly buying things. Like the most recent,
I'm not really going out to buy comics.
Right, the most recent comic or graphic novel that I bought 3 Jokers, like the hardcover of all of them, once the full story came out. So I'm basically getting all my comic stuff right now from just watching Comic Storians videos. Yeah. But like the most recent Marvel thing I remember watching was like a Gwenpool thing, because it's kind of fun.
It's kind of cool.
It's kind of fun.
The most recent thing I saw was like a Deadpool thing. Like a Deadpool. Sometimes I watch some Spider-Man content.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like,
and I mean, I do buy some of those as well. And to be honest, I think all my Marvel stuff is like, I think all of it is just like Spidey Pool.
We have like some Spidey Pool stuff. I remember like all my Marvel stuff is like, I think we just like got it on like free comic book days and stuff. Like,
I think I have like a couple Wolverine ones. The Wolverine comics are pretty good too.
It's like I've never really gone out of my way to read Marvel stuff. Oh no, and we did buy the Captain America one, where he was the Hydra one, because that was a big thing. But I don't think anything ever really came of that.
Yeah, that was.
I don't know. I feel like
we're like. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, no,
I feel like they understand what they're doing, but I don't feel like they.
Yeah.
I don't feel like they, because I mean they focus so much on the movies, and I feel like a lot of things that they do in the movies also has to be in the books, in their comic books. I mean, or at least a lot of that stuff is similar to how their comic book stuff is. The characters look kind of similar to the characters that are in the movies.
Yeah,
and I feel that. The thing with DC is that DC does their own stuff, and I feel like
DC does their own stuff, but they
so deep in comics.
They adapt a lot of the comic book stuff. Like, I commend them for going all in on the multiverse, and that is their big thing now. Yeah. But Marvel's actually coming behind.
Also, their animated movies are really good. Like their animated movies
DC animated. So good.
Perfect.
So good.
I mean, also Avengers had some great. Like there were some great Avengers.
Yeah, I liked that Young Avengers one where it was like kind of post-apocalyptic. That was
I also
cool.
liked the 2 different Avengers movies. I forget the names of them.
I know. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Those were also. Those were kind of dark
I think those
too.
were in the same connected universe as the
Yeah.
as the
Yeah,
Young
I think they were like not prequels, but they happened before. So
Yeah. I think the Young Avengers was the newest of those, and they just stopped making them. Because I don't think that it was as popular as at the time, which I think was the same time that those movies were coming out, those animated movies, was, the animated universe of, DC, as in like, Justice League, the TV show, Justice League, the animated show, Batman Beyond, Superman, Justice League Unlimited, all those properties, all those movies, all that great stuff. I think that's something that DC has over Marvel.
So here, I don't want to turn this into a DC versus Marvel thing, because that's not at all what we're trying to say. We love DC and Marvel. Like, don't get it twisted. Like, I love them both, but it just Marvel,
I feel like they have their own different strengths.
Yeah, exactly. They have their own strengths and weaknesses, and I think. But I think it's good because they're competing with each other. Marvel has
media,
right? It gives us, the consumers, better things in general. DC saw how popular Marvel's connected movies and universe was, so that's why we have the DCEU and all this stuff now. But Marvel saw how popular the Arrowverse was and all of these DC shows and DC animated things, and that's what we're having with the Disney Plus shows now. And that kind of full circle, bringing it around to things like WandaVision, to Hawkeye. We're getting characters that we never thought we would get. Like, who thought that we would ever get a Hawkeye series where Hawkeye trains Kate Bishop? Like, that's so obscure. And
I mean, also we're gonna have a Falcon and Winter Soldier show,
a Falcon
as well,
and the Winter Soldier show, a Scarlet Witch and Vision show.
Like, come on, guys!
Right? Like, there's so much craziness happening in Marvel now because of Disney Plus that would have never happened if this didn't exist. And the same thing. You were about to say what?
I was just gonna say, speaking of that, like moving into what Disney Plus and HBO Max are. If you want to go into that now.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Go for it.
No, I was just going to say that, I mean, and that's the biggest thing now is the battle for Disney Plus and HBO Max. HBO Max being everything DC, and Disney Plus being everything, Marvel.
Yeah.
And I think that's very interesting because now, of course, everybody's inside. This is really where it all comes down to. Is if they can get views on these streaming services, they will stay popular through what's going on right now. And hopefully at some point movie theaters and all that will come back. But as of right now, these are the important things. These are where they need to start making the money. You know?
This is big because HBO Max and Warner Brothers announced this past week that their new format for releasing movies is going to follow the path that Wonder Woman 1984 is taking. If you guys don't know already, we talked about this last week on stream, but Wonder Woman 1984 is coming out December 25th, Christmas Day. It is releasing in movie theaters and on HBO Max simultaneously. It'll be on HBO Max for a month. Everybody that is subscribed will get to see the movie from the comfort of their own home. No extra cost, no Disney Plus Mulan shenanigans of paying an extra $20 or $30, however much it was. You have a HBO Max subscription. You are able to watch Wonder Woman 1984 if you sign into HBO Max between December 25th and January 25th.
Yeah.
And they are following suit with that for every single major Warner Brothers release throughout 2021. So that's movies like Suicide Squad, Dune, the Mortal Kombat movie, and a bunch more. Godzilla versus King Kong.
I know I'm gonna watch that. I haven't watched the other ones, but I need to watch them.
We watched Kong Island. Yeah, it's Kong Skull Island. Yeah. Space Jam is gonna be on there. Like all this stuff. So
our first stream about Space Jam.
Oh my god! If you remember the Space Jam stuff, you're a real OG. Can you believe that was only like a couple months ago? That's insane.
Can you believe that we're gonna have 2 more episodes of this and we're gonna go on a break?
Oh yeah, if you guys didn't know, so we've kind of decided that once Mando is over for the season, because we've gone at this point, it'll be after this final episode of Mando in a couple weeks. That'll be 8 streams in a row going weekly. We love doing this, but we're gonna take a little bit of a break because I don't think that there's gonna be that much going on. It'll be the holidays. We know everybody's gonna try to, just hang out at home, spend some time with family and whatever. We don't want to interfere with that. Yeah, our last stream is going to probably end up being like 2 or 3 hours because we're going to talk.
I hope not 3 hours. I mean, that's a little crazy.
I don't know. Who knows?
Man, we'll have to see.
But yeah, we'll have to see. But we'll take a couple weeks off around the holidays and come back.
A crazy amount of Cyberpunk
and come back strong. I know that the DC TV shows are coming back mid-January. Scarlet Witch and Vision, WandaVision, that's coming out on January 15th, I want to say. So we'll be back like first, second week of January to kind of preview that stuff, and we'll continue out how we've been doing it. But yeah, just wanted to give you guys like a little heads up there on the schedule. So
we'll most definitely bring this up in later streams.
Oh yeah. So don't worry about it. We'll be back. Same bat time, same bat channel next week. Sunday 9 p.m. most likely. And if anything changes, keep an eye out on my social media, on the channel itself. Instagram, Twitter. I'll update you guys. As I've been doing.
Put these out at the beginning of the day, so you'll see.
Yeah. If anything changes, I will be sure to let you guys know. Let me know if actually I should be posting these on the community tab as well, because I don't know how often you guys check those. I know they don't get too much interaction, but just let me know. And with that, is there really anything else that you have to say? And if not, I think that we've kind of said it all.
That DC, I feel like, is taking the right route with their HBO Max stuff. I think that it should be interesting. But we'll really just have to see.
Yeah, no, I think if this does well for Warner Brothers, for HBO Max, and I know that there's also that debate that it could be difficult for theaters. Theaters have been going through a rough time, but it's not safe to go out to a theater right now in most places. Unless you're somewhere like Australia, New Zealand, where they've got things under wraps, like, you're not going to want to, if you can watch the movie from the comfort of your own home, you're not going to want to risk it to go out to see.
I mean, unless you're going to go ahead and rent out the whole theater.
Right, exactly.
Which, there's also a very cool experience.
Right, and that's, if you can afford to do it, and if you have people that can do it safely, for like $100 to rent out the theater for you and up to I think it's
that's as much as it would cost to buy a ticket and some popcorn.
Right, exactly. It's like, it's like we almost spend that much going to the movies, just a couple people.
That, no.
I mean, we spent
tickets are here's the thing. You also have to think.
Tickets are super expensive. Well, think about
popcorn
it. If you go to see it in IMAX or something, right? Those tickets are like $25 a pop. Like $25 a pop.
Popcorn is kind of expensive too. I love movies, but they were pretty expensive.
And they are movies.
Yeah, and I do, man. I love movies, but the thing is, they can just be a little expensive sometimes. But there's no problem with that.
They can be, but
the thing is,
exactly.
I understand why some people want to be at their house. If they have their own movie theater or whatever.
Exactly, it's like I'm literally. You guys see this room right now. We sit here every Thursday night at 3 a.m. and watch Mando on the TV, literally right there.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have it any other way, and that's probably exactly where I'm going to watch.
Yeah.
That's exactly where I'm going to
Mando. Yeah.
Right. No, I'm saying, but that's exactly where I'm going to watch Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Is from the comfort of my own
also
home.
It's just like at this point, trying to make people spend like $20 again for like a movie. It's like at that point, why don't I just buy the movie or rent it or something? I think it's cheaper to rent the movie than it is to spend the extra $20, and then also have Disney Plus.
There's also the issue that you run into too with pirating and stuff like that is of course if it's out on a streaming platform, I can pull up the don't do this unless you're trying to get some footage for a video or something.
This is illegal.
Maybe I don't know. So you pull up HBO Max on your main monitor, pull up OBS on your other monitor, and just record your main monitor, and you've got the movie there for whenever you want it. That's how That's how I
the other thing
record
is,
episodes
nobody's
videos
gonna
and
be in
stuff,
front of you, telling you like how
Yeah,
in a movie theater,
exactly.
telling you to stop recording the movie or
Right, so
something
you're not
on
gonna
your
have
phone or
the
something. Somebody
potato.
could most
So you're not gonna have
definitely
like
do that.
potato quality. Like, also, it seems like they've gotten a lot more lax with that recently. Didn't you notice that? Is like within the last couple of years, like clips of movies that were in theaters were just being posted on Twitter. Like,
I mean, did you
out of the
see that
blue.
that the Batman and I saw this when it came out, but the Batman trailer released before it even released,
Oh yeah, no, I mean, there's been
And
issues with
I
that
watched
for
that.
a while.
I'm not gonna cap. I watched that,
There's been issues
Was
with a
it
lot
good
of that
quality?
stuff
No.
for a
But
while. I mean, you're always gonna have potato quality leaks. I mean,
yeah.
so here's the thing. Bottom line, if you have HBO Max and you do not feel comfortable going out to a movie theater, watch these movies on HBO Max to support the movies and to support the creators, the actors, and the movie itself. And I think
really
also,
well with it.
what were you saying?
I was saying that what if they gave you like the ability, if you have like Disney Plus or something, kind of as a way to like help out the movies or something, but also if you really like them, is go ahead and like buy some kind of like, if you have Disney Plus, you have the ability to buy merch for that stuff.
Yeah, so here, this is what happens too, is the theaters will be getting a small cut of whatever they make. Or like just how, I don't know how it's going to work, but they'll get a cut somehow. I mean, you're not going to have these movies making $1 billion. Like, they're holding on to things like Black Widow because they think Marvel, Disney, they think it's going to make $1 billion. I don't think we're going to see a movie make $1 billion for a couple of years at this point until everything gets back to.
I've said this before, and I'd say it to you, but not to the stream, but Blumhouse, okay? Blumhouse makes movies for very, very cheap. They make them pretty cheap, and they make really good movies. They've been making, the what's it called? They made the Paranormal Activity movies. They made the all these different horror movies. They made the Invisible Man. They made The Purge and all this stuff. Things that people eat up, right?
Yeah.
And they're really good content. They even made like the latest Halloween movie, but they do them for very cheap, and they make a bunch of profit from it. So what we're probably going to be seeing now is smaller projects that cost less money, and they get them more money, because why would they make these big budget things right now?
Exactly.
That's why they make whole TV shows,
Yeah, so I think bottom line is everything that's releasing on HBO Max next year, that's going to be released in theaters and going to be released on HBO Max, people in parts of the world that can go to the movie theater will go to the theater and support it. People that can't will watch it from home. Everybody will be able to see it at the same time, which is great for people like me and you who want to talk about it on stream, who want to review it, who, just want to see a movie without it getting spoiled. Perfect. It's out. You can watch it from your home. But, and again, the only issue is theaters are suffering, and that is a fact. And this will unfortunately hurt movie theaters because of the fact that you don't have to go to them now.
Yeah.
So if, I love going, I miss the theater experience. Like, I don't miss some of the, some of the things that happen in movie theaters. Like, sometimes the movies glitch out. Sometimes people are just being annoying.
Sometimes people will take your seats.
Yeah, but like also that's kind of like, that's the beauty of going to a sporting event. That's the beauty of going to a movie. That's
not just kidding.
No, exactly. But like you just, watching it at home on your own TV with your own popcorn, you can pause it whenever you want. There's something so nice about that, but there's also something really nice about, like, I remember when I went to go watch Knives Out, I went to a theater that had like super nice like leather recliners and stuff like that. It was a nice theater. Everything was spread out super well. Like, I miss that. I haven't been to a movie theater now in over a year. I think Knives Out last November was the final movie I saw in theaters before everything happened. So
even movies that don't like let's take for example like Valerian, right?
Oh, Valerian, yes,
Valerian.
yes.
Did you even see that with me?
Yeah, we were there. Yeah, I was there with you.
I went with friends. And I mean, it was not a bad movie per se, but it wasn't great either.
Yeah, but
I
it
will
made
say
it
this,
better
though.
because you were watching it on a massive screen.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's one of those movies that doesn't really have that great of plot or anything, but man, does it look good. Like, I mean, I know it's not really exactly like how the Valerian books were or anything like that, but the movie just looked great.
Yeah, so
I
think
it just looked really good.
So people with like home theaters and like 4K projectors and stuff like that, they'll be in heaven.
Yeah, I will say this though, for some strange reason, well, not for some strange reason, it's freaking Mandalorian, but the Mandalorian looks really good no matter where. You know?
So good. But here, also, this is the other issue too. You're gonna get people seeing movies like Wonder Woman, like Suicide Squad, like Dune is a big one. You're unfortunately gonna have these people that don't have, you know, a decent sized TV or a monitor or whatever. You're gonna have them either watch them on their like 13-inch MacBooks or like a 24-inch gaming monitor or on their iPhones.
Yeah, I mean, because the thing is, a lot of people, they'd have no need for TVs anymore.
I know, and that kind of sucks. That, you know, like you can't see it on a big screen or whatever. And again, the biggest thing here is that theaters are suffering. They're not getting I thought that's where you're going. It's like theaters are suffering, and we are missing out on that theater experience now. And if I'm not sure if that theater experience is going to be there when this is all over. If movies are making the money that they need from not being in theaters, what's the point of movie theaters? Will they be here in a year, 2 years?
Also, the point of movie theaters is those big screens. Again, a lot of people don't have them. And the thing is, if you're able to go out, and this is what I do a lot. I used to do this a lot before, you know, things happened. Is I would go out, and you know me. I used to just go out with like a friend or two, and just go hang out at a movie, and then go get some food after, or go get some food before, and then go out and do it.
That was a great outing.
It's part of going out with friends. It's part of going out on
now
some
you can
people's dates
kind
and
of
all
do
that,
this.
you know?
You can kind of do the same thing now with like watch parties and stuff. There's like different things in like Disney
I mean,
Plus.
it's not I feel like it's never going to really be the same.
It's not the same. Like you can't just hop into a Discord chat with the boys and just, you know, watch a movie. Like you can, but it's not the same as like
it's not like you're
going to a theater. Like I remember, like, you know, I remember my friends and I, we went and basically we filled up like an entire row when we went to go see Knives Out, and like that was cool. Like
what was the point?
I don't know. I don't know. Knives Out was great. We literally filled up an entire.
That sounds like a waste of money to me.
No, I feel like but like it was it was like $5 movie tickets or whatever. It was great.
Oh, okay, then that
was
makes
great.
sense.
No, it was great. It was like the theater was running something. It was like $5 movie tickets on like a Tuesday night or something.
Tuesday. It's Tuesday, isn't it?
It's Tuesday, isn't it? No, but it was great. It was great. So that's the only thing, is I'm going to miss that. And if anybody watching or somebody that is going to miss that, I think the only way that we can still support theaters right now through this is, you know, if you can, holidays are coming up, maybe buy gift cards, you know. Those are great stocking stuffers to just, you know.
I mean, but the other thing is, if you're gonna buy them, I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but if you buy them, like, and if they don't go back, then that's kind of
then that's also right, exactly. Then that's
so
the other. That's the other thing. Be smart about it. Don't like go overboard, but like.
Yeah.
Also, too, the thing is if you can do it, if you can be safe about it, if you can do the whole, you know, rent out the theater for, you know, a few friends or whatever. Go for it. It seems like a good deal.
Also, if you want to go in there like a restaurant, go ahead and get some food and just leave.
Yeah, no, I mean, I guess you can just kind of like go into the movie theater, go get a popcorn, and just get out. All right, thanks. But yeah, I don't know. It's sad to think about, and you don't want to think about it. But as we always say, it'll be a watch this space type of thing, and it's going to be very interesting to see how this next year of movies play out. I don't think we go further than a few more months without Disney and Marvel saying, all right, well, maybe if, like, say Wonder Woman does well on streaming, they're going to test the waters and release Black Widow in, like, the spring or something, probably.
They could, yeah, they really could. Also, it
And-
really depends on what they're going to be getting with these Marvel Disney Plus series as well.
Right. Well, that's also the
Like,
thing too, is they could also be holding over until the big movies come out. But we've gone now over a year since the last Marvel movie came out.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
and this is the longest we've gone without a Marvel movie since Iron Man came out, you know?
Pretty much, yeah.
So, you know, it's going to be interesting to see how this all develops, and I think
So wait and
even I
see.
think a year from now, even 6 months from now, the state of things are going to be very different.
Yeah, I think that everything's going to be changing for a good amount of time.
Yeah, so
Good or bad,
I
either
think
way, it's
that's-
just going to be changing. So
yeah, I think
we'll
that
just have to see where it
this is a
goes.
topic that we can keep revisiting.
Yeah,
For sure,
as,
we'll
as
talk
things
about.
change, you know.
Yeah, I mean, like
'Cause
for
the
sure
world
we'll
is an
talk about.
ever-changing place.
For sure, we'll talk about Wonder Woman at some point. Oh yeah, we might actually have to come back and do a special Christmas stream for Wonder Woman.
Yes, very
Possibly.
much.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I
We might
don't
just
know.
make a small little video.
Maybe. Yeah. Oh, we could also. Yeah, we could just like sit down together and do a video review for it.
And it's because we live in the same house, not because of anything else. It's not like
Yeah. Yeah. No, we
seeing each
live
other.
in the same. We live in the same house. He's literally like.
I
you're-
could go run over there right now if I
Yeah,
wanted to.
he's
but
literally
I'm not
behind.
going to.
He's behind that wall. So
Yeah.
we're being safe about it. Don't worry.
Yeah.
We're good. We're good.
Mhm.
But that's basically it. We went on a massive tangent there. We've
Yeah.
been streaming for an hour 41 now. This is
little
going to be
crazy.
one of the longer ones, but
It's got a lot of stuff in it.
yeah, do you have anything else that you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, I think I'm done actually.
Okay.
For once, I'm actually
Okay.
done with a lot of things I said. I think
Cool.
I think I said a lot of the things I wanted to, at
All right,
least.
cool.
And a lot of things that have been on my chest for a little while. How about you?
Yeah, no, I'm good. I mean, the only other thing that I had on here that we kind of briefly mentioned was like the freaking Mando in Fortnite, but like
No, there's
You
no
know.
need. We don't need to talk about Fortnite.
yeah, no.
We don't need to talk about that.
No. No, I don't mess with that.
I even tried to hop on there just to go fight Mando, and I lost. I'm not good at Fortnite anymore, man.
Oh,
There's-
here, speaking of gaming, I uploaded a video today. If you guys care, a Black
I hope
Ops
they
called. Well, I don't know. You might not care about Call of Duty. I think honestly, a big, like if you look at how my channel grew, like I gained like a third of my subscribers doing gaming stuff, and the rest came from DC, Marvel, Star Wars. So like, there's probably not a big chunk of people that care. But if you do care, I uploaded another episode of my my Plague Diamonds Are Forever path to Plague Diamonds in Dark Ether camo for shotguns. So
It looked pretty nice.
yeah, it looks really nice if you would like to look at those camos and
Could never do
glorious
that.
1440p. It's up there. I also got to round 100. I talked about that a little bit. That was a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's that. That's on the channel. If you guys want to go check that out. Last thing, I know something that while we're on the topic of gaming, I know something that you've been excited for a while. I just want to get your thoughts on it because I haven't been keeping up with it at all. But go for it. I know Cyberpunk is coming out soon.
Yeah.
Just talk about that for a couple
Coming
minutes.
out
Talk
on
about
the
that for a couple
9th
minutes so
for
we can get
us.
to 145.
And in general, I just feel like it's going to be a game that's either going to be spectacular or I wouldn't say it's going to fail. I don't think it's going to fail. I just think that there might be some issues with it when it comes out. That's going to be about it, if that's possible. But it seems like they've taken the time and I feel like they've really worked it out. And they understand what kind of game they're making. And it looks to be a very interesting game, as my boy Tamor Morrison would say.
No, I think
And-
he said it looks to be a very exciting game.
Yeah, one or the other. But I mean, if you're interested in any of that like punkish, cybery GTA first person
there's
RPG,
Punk, there's punk and cyber in Cyberpunk?
I know, right? And it's going to be in the
Whoa.
future. Whoa! But it's basically just
Whoa.
GTA, but like in the future. and a lot more in depth. And it seems like the characters are very interesting. The game's going to look awesome. I hope my PC can run it very well. If not, I'm going to be sad. I'm going to be a sad boy. And yeah, I mean, it just looks awesome. And it's coming out 9th and 10th, depends on where you live. So go ahead and check that out. Full price, $60 game.
If you move, I heard if you move to New Zealand, you might get the game like 18 hours earlier.
That's what we tried to do for Call of Duty. And we didn't
that didn't work because it didn't work on PC. It only worked on console.
It only works on console, so
yeah.
Don't cheat the system, kids.
Dang,
don't cheat the system.
console players.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Looks like we hit 10:45.
Yep. All right. We hit the hour 45 mark. That was where I wanted to get to. Thanks for the Cyberpunk.
Or 104.
Yeah.
Or 105. I don't know. I can't even tell the minutes.
It's 10:45.
Oh.
All right. Thanks for the Cyberpunk stuff. There we have it. That's it, guys. We've been rambling forever. We talked about The Mandalorian. We talked about Disney Plus, Hawkeye, and Marvel stuff. We talked about HBO.
We talked about those guys from Fortnite.
We talked about the guys from Fortnite. We talked about HBO Max and all that stuff. We talked about the future of movies and the punks and the cyber, all that stuff.
And the 2077s.
And the 2077s. So if you guys are watching this live and you missed any of it, the video will be available for playback on the channel as soon as it is done processing. Thank you guys so much for coming out to the stream tonight. Once again, if you're watching it on playback, thank you. If you're watching it live, thank you. Just thanks for coming out to the stream tonight. We had so much fun talking about everything that we did tonight, and we'll be back again next weekend to talk more Mando and whatever else happens throughout the week. So thanks again for coming out to the stream. But until next time, guys, it's been Tazz and Strike. And we will see you guys in the next live stream.